I'm just going to go onto this. So just wanted to do a little bit of a little chat, just talking about basically nutrition around performance. Basically looking at like, are you fueling your workouts to get the most out of your workouts? Looking at things like energy balance, because I know we're all training at FITSTOP. So as you know, it can be quite intense. So it's really important because I know everyone has goals. It is really important to try and make sure your nutrition matches what you want to do. So it might be a performance goal. It could also be a weight loss goal as well. So nutrition plays a really important part in both of those, in every type of eating for whilst you're training, and eating for those goals. So I just wanted to touch upon a couple of things. I want to talk about under eating, and how that can negatively affect your results, but also your performance in the gym. Because we all want to be able to feel good when we're training. There's nothing worse of coming into the gym and feeling like we've got no energy to send it. And especially when you actually got some goals already planned out. And then you're coming in every day and you just literally dying or not feeling good, or it might even be the food around your training's not right, so you might be feeling sick. So I want to touch on things like fueling training or fuel snacks, eating around your training as well. All right, so I've got a couple of things that I made some notes just so I could cover what I wanted to cover and not, talk on about something for ages. So first thing that I wanted to talk about, so in terms of fueling for your training, energy balance. So we all know that our body needs a certain amount of energy to just be alive, just to be, even if we're not just training. Sorry, I'm just a bit warm in here. Our bodies do need a bit of energy. All right, so we get our energy from our food and our drink. And we utilize that just to kind of be alive. If we are training and doing stuff as well, we need more food and nutrition to make sure that we've got that energy. All right. So in terms of energy, how we burn energy, you've got obviously in the gym, so your exercise that you do. You've also got your BMI, which you would have seen that on your scan. So your basal metabolic rate. So that's the amount of energy you require absolute rest. So say if I was just literally bedbound or in a coma, that's how much energy my body requires to actually be alive, breathe, and things like that. Also, your NEAT, so your non-exercise thermogenesis as well. So just things like fidgeting. I'm a fidgeter. I don't stop. I did nearly 20,000 steps at work this morning over 5 classes. Like, I do a lot of NEAT. So walking, cleaning, fidgeting, just moving that's not planned pretty much. Obviously, that burns a lot of energy as well. And then actually the thermic effect of food as well. So actually eating the food as well. One of the biggest ones, actually, which you probably would surprise you, is NEAT. That actually burns a lot of energy. So if you have a really active job, manual labor, you're a nurse and you're walking up and down, you're a FITSTOP coach, you're going to need quite a lot of energy. All right. So first thing is energy balance. So thinking about how much energy we need for our training. Also how much energy we need for our training, what we want to get out of our training. So you've got a couple of things. You might want to train for performance. All right. So if you're training for performance, you need to make sure you're eating enough and of the right foods. So when you do get to the gym in the morning, you want to be able to lift the weight and not feel like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like this 20 kilo bar feels like 60 kilos. So that's one thing. Another thing is fat loss, which I know a lot of people aim to do that as well. So things that can negatively affect fat loss, we're going to talk about that. And also if you want to build or bulk up or build some muscle, food around that is really important as well. So to get those results, you have to eat in a certain way. And everyone's different as well. Everyone's different shapes, sizes, everyone's got a different lifestyle. So that's something that you want to take into account as well. So we've talked about energy balance, the balance of energy. So if you wanted to maintain a weight or eat for performance, you might actually eat at a maintenance. All right. If you wanted to lose fat, you want to be in a deficit in terms of your energy intake. But really important with that one, the amount of deficit that you're in really will affect those results. If you go hardcore 1,200 calories when your BMI is 1,400 calories, you're going to start struggling and not see those results because everything's going to be down regulated. Let's talk firstly about the importance of eating around training firstly. So I'm going to do importance of eating around training. So pre-training and post-training. So I know a lot of people come in and they train at 5 a.m. and last thing that you want to do is eat something in the morning. But then that's when it's going to come down to the types of foods that you eat. So you want to eat something that's, if you're going to train pretty soon after getting up, you want something nice and light, something that's going to kind of give you quick energy. It's going to be more fast carbs. So really awesome one is a banana. Doesn't have to be a full one. It can be a half a banana. It could be some fruit and some yogurt. It could be a cereal bar, one that's a little bit more high in carbs and sugars rather than fat. So that's really important as well. If we're eating just before we want to train, we're trying to eat more a carb base, a little bit of protein as well with that one. It could be like half a banana and, you know, your coffee, perfect in the morning. If you're eating a little bit, training later, you know, you might have more of a meal. Just make sure that you're kind of getting used to, you know, how long before you're training and the timing amount, so you don't feel sick. All right. So that also depends on you as an individual. I literally eat a full-blown meal and probably go and train straight away because I'm weirdo. All right. Some people just need something a little bit lighter, that's not going to make them feel like they can't really move. All right. So fuel before, really important. We want to make sure that we have energy to burn. We're not just running off, you know, we might not have even eaten enough the day before. So it's really important that to get the most out of your workouts, we're fueling them. All right. Maybe for the condition and stuff, you might not need it as much, but it's still good to use a bit of food as energy. Just think of it, energy, performance. It's kind of like, you know, if you didn't put petrol in your car, it's not going to go anywhere. So if you don't put your fuel, your petrol in you, you're going to struggle in training. So that's pre-workout. Post-workout, this is most important. So actually eating around your workouts. A lot of people do get stuck in that mindset. I want to lose weight, so I don't want to eat that much. So they come in, they train hard, and then they get home and they try and put off eating because they want to try and eat less in the day. All right. So you've got to remember when you're training, our muscles, we have glycogen in our muscles, which gets depleted when we are training. All right. We need to restock or replenish that glycogen. So the way to do that is obviously through your food. So usually say about a 60-90 minute window after training to try and get in a meal. Don't need to, one thing that I feel like a lot of people do is they just have a protein shake afterwards. A lot of protein shakes actually are just high protein, really low carb, and people just have a shake and they go, yep, sweet, I've had my protein, but they haven't thought about the carbs. The carbs are what are going to replenish your glycogen. All right. So this is why it's really important to have a mixture of those two. All right. So carbs and protein, 90-minute window, 60-90 minute window, trying to have something to eat. If you're going to have a protein shake, put some oats in, put some banana in, put some carbs in. All right. And it is really, really important, especially around training. You want to eat those protein and the fats, those protein and carbs afterwards. Minimize the fats because that's going to slow down the carbs. So that's really important. Lots of things. If you train in the morning, you might have something like overnight oats. Could be something with some toast, some carbs. You could have yogurt, fruit. There's lots of different options. Just make sure high protein, high carbs. Same with your dinners. If you're training at nighttime, save your dinner till after. Have a little fuel snack, all right, or a little snack or a little bit meal, train, and then have your dinner. All right, save that food and replenish yourself. All right, so that's it around eating, around training. Really, 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 I can't even stress how important it is. I just wanted to quickly go over eating, under eating. Big, 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 big issue sometimes. People want to lose weight. Straight away they go, okay, energy in, energy out. The less I eat, the more I move, the better my results are going to be. Nah, absolutely wrong. So you've got to think our body likes to be in a nice, well-balanced state. Our body hates stress. Our body hates hunger. Our body needs energy to live. So our body's really clever. So it works to kind of keep all those things going. So hormones, things like that. And if you're not providing your body with what it needs, it will be onto you. It'll be like, hey, this person's not giving me enough energy. Okay, what am I going to do to get that energy? I'm going to save the energy. I'm going to stop this person fidgeting. I'm going to stop this person walking. I'm going to down-regulate everything. So actually eating less and moving more to a certain degree doesn't work. It does work to a certain degree, but at the same time, if you go hard, then you're going to struggle with that one. All right. So that's really, really important. A lot of people, 1,200 calories, juicing, blah, 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 diets, and quite restrictive diets as well. Not eating carbs. We just said carbs are really important for glycogen and replenishment. All right. So it's really important that, you're not taking, your fat loss too seriously in terms of really aggressive deficit. If anyone needs any advice on this, you want to take a couple of things into account when you are looking at fat loss. You want to look at your BMI. You're right. You want to also look at your lifestyle. So how many steps you do in a day, what you do for work. You also want to look at how much, you're training. You want to bring all those things in together, which would be equate to your total energy expenditure. So including NEAT, EAT, all of those things that I mentioned before. And then from that, you want 10, 15% deficit, no more. All right. And as well, if you're in that deficit for too long, guess what? Your body's not going to like it. All right. So that's another thing as well that you can think of. Just remember, treat your body, fuel your workouts. If you're not giving your body enough food, you're going to leave yourself with really low energy availability. So you're going to be less likely to actually want to get shit done. You're going to be less likely going to want to train. You're going to be less likely to go for your little wander. All right. Because you're going to be exhausted. So just try and think everything that you're doing, just try and bring it in that deficit. If you follow the calories on the FITSTOP app, you should be sweet. That doesn't really down-regulate anything too much. All right. So that's pretty much calorie deficit and eating for fat loss. Obviously, that's also going to affect you in the gym. So again, why would under eating affect you in the gym? One, you might not be making as much progress as you want because you've got no fuel to put into the workouts. All right. You've got to think about what you're eating. Are you fueling your workouts? Are you recovering? Things like that. And just remember, when energy is scarce, the body will actually always look after itself. It's always going to look after its own functions, and building muscle and stuff like that is going to be second job. All right. So really important, not going too crazy. All right. I feel like I'm talking so much. Right. Last thing that I'm going to talk about is eating for performance. All right. So very similar in terms of, if we want to build muscle, things that we need to do to build muscle. If we want to build muscle and a good amount of muscle, obviously our training is going to be a big thing, and making sure that we're progressively overloading. Luckily, we have FITSTOP to program that. 1 week we work at 60%, then 70%, then 80%. That's why it's really important to stick to those numbers and make sure that you are pushing yourself in those weight sessions. Other thing as well is, can you tell I can't sit still? Is actually looking at the split of what we're eating. So this is the same as well for fat loss, but are you eating enough protein, for your body, for your goals. All right. That doesn't mean just eating protein around your workouts. That means throughout the day. All right. So 1.6 to 2.2 is kind of the recommendations. 2.2, the upper end is going to be those looking to build more muscle. All right. Per kilo of body weight. So that's what you want to aim for. That doesn't need to be in one hit. You've got to remember that can be spread out throughout the day. All right. So easiest way to do it is just have a look at your overall protein target and then break that down into meals and snacks. And as long as you have a good serving in those meals, and then some higher protein snacks as well throughout the day, all right, you want to try and hit that protein goal. All right. If you're struggling with, some ideas, there's lots of stuff that you can look at, just looking at, what's the protein? What's a good protein breakfast? Overnight oats. You can use protein powder if needed. I actually never drink protein. I just use it to flavor my oats, or maybe sometimes some yogurt or something like that. But if you are struggling to hit that protein goal, that could be a way of assisting that. All right. So you're going to look at your protein. You're going to look at your carbs around training. Some people just prefer eating more a higher carb base in terms of their nutrition. Some people prefer more fats. But in general, the research shows that the main thing is your actual calorie intake. So the overall calorie intake and protein are the two things that you want to mostly focus on, along with water and fiber. All right. So that just means that making sure that we're having good sources of food, veggies, fruit, making sure we're getting the fiber, the minerals, and the vitamins that we want as well. So if you want to eat to bulk up, all the things that you want to look at is overall intake. Am I in a surplus? It might be, you think you're in a surplus and you try it for 2 weeks and you're hungry. You go, hold on a second. I'm hungry. I'm trying to eat more food than what I need. My body's telling me that you're not feeding me enough to gain muscle. All right. So that's a really important thing as well. Listen to your hunger and your energy levels. And then, basically your carbs and your fats, kind of preference more than anything with that. I'm just trying to think of what other things that I wanted to cover. Injury. If you are finding that you are injured, I know the first thing that people want to do is kind of stop eating and bring that food down. But just remember, an injury is going to get better with good nutrition. It's going to be quicker. All right. If you're providing it with adequate nutrition. So kind of sitting at that maintenance level for actually what you're doing, making sure that you're going that upper end of the protein, because you're wanting those muscles to repair with that as well. And good quality nutrition as well, just serving your body right. When it's injured, when you're sick, it's very easy to kind of just like try not to eat because you're not moving, but it's pretty much the opposite of what you want to do. You want to really look after your body. I think that is it. The only other thing that I wanted to just look at is obviously if you're training, all right, and you're struggling with your performance, have a think about your food. Are you always low energy, low mood, brain fog, feeling cold all the time, struggling to sleep, craving high energy foods, so foods that are high in sugar and fat? Is it something to do with your food? All right, are you giving your body enough fuel for actually what you're doing? But also, we also know that poor sleep and all those things are all as well related to struggling to lose weight or lose body fat. But also, how much are you training? Are you coming into FITSTOP 6 days a week and full send mode all the time and going, hold on a second, I'm training 6 times a week and I feel like I'm not really getting any results? maybe have a think about, like, is our training helping us get where we want? Do we need to take a day off? Do we need to come in on a day and take it a little bit easier? Do we need to maybe, you know, manage our recovery a little bit better? Are we stretching? Um, if we're feeling absolutely exhausted, are we still getting up at 5 a.m. and dragging ourselves to the gym and just putting our bodies through that stress state? Um, just remember that's really important as well. Like, the food is a big thing, but also if you're not, sleeping, or if you're overtraining and not drinking enough water, your body's also doesn't like that. So lots of things to think of, but just as a summary, all right. Um, looking out for signs of low energy, low mood, being tired. Are you eating enough? You start eating in a calorie deficit, you're starving all the time, every single day. You're like, I can't stop thinking about food. You can't be bothered, going for your walk. All right. Are you eating enough? All right. You're trying to bulk muscle. All right. You're finding that you're still hungry. Are you eating enough? You are bricking, you're bloody walking up and down, and you've got a really manual job, but you're trying to build muscle and it's not happening. Are you taking into account that you are a manual worker and you need a lot more food than probably what you think? Um, and also just have a look at your training. Make sure you're training for your goals. Make sure you're not overtraining and undereating. It's like car crash. But that's it. I hope anyone that watches this gets something from it. Ciao.